So good evening and welcome to BCS Learning Development Specialist Group. This is our AGM 2020 and delighted to welcome Rebecca George, our BCS President for this year, for 2020-21, who is going to be talking to us about T-levels after the AGM. So we'll go into the AGM first of all. So welcome to the Learning Development Specialist Group AGM 2020. The agenda for this evening, fairly standard. We are just going to go through welcome and introductions, apologies for absence, minutes, officers' reports, an event report, and the nomination of chair, treasurer, and committee members. So, apologies for absence. I don't believe we've received any. I've not been notified of any. And the 2019 AGM minutes have been posted to my BCS, and recording of last year's AGM is available on the members, BCS members YouTube channel. So if there are no questions about that, I will move on. So just an introduction to the group. If this is your first meeting, then welcome. The BCS Learning Development Specialist Group is for those who are involved in the development, delivery and management of learning to IT and communications professionals and users. Hopefully somewhere in there you'll find some phrase that you identify with. What does that mean in practice? Well, actually our membership survey a couple of years ago now gave us a good idea about where our members came from and where their interests were. About 18% of our membership is involved in IT end user training. About 18% are involved in professional skills, so project management, change management, those types of areas, service management, and so on. About 16% are involved in IT technical skills training, so the traditional vendor type hardware and software training. About 16% are involved in university or the education sector. And a third of our members are just generally interested in IT skills topics, so a general interest in learning and development. Something that we did last year was to introduce the technical training management book, which we did in partnership with BCS Publishing and with SEDMA Europe, which is the trade association for hardware and software vendors. And we've run a number of events in the past with SEDMA, and the book has done reasonably well. I think we've sold about 400 copies so far globally, and we've had organizations right the way across Europe and the US reading the book and giving us some good feedback, and good feedback to SEDMA. And if you'd like to get your own copy of the book, then there's a bit.ly link on this page, and it's available either as hard copy or an e-publication. The Learning Development Specialist Group now has a new webpage on the BCS website, and we've been updating that through the year. So you can find more information about the group and the events that we're running, and an introduction there for myself. And if you want to keep in touch with the group, then the links are at the bottom. And some of the website links are quite long, so we've provided a bit.ly link for most of the websites that we're referring to. We've also managed to put all of our past events that we had recorded onto the BCS member group YouTube channel this year. So if you go into the Learning Development Specialist Group YouTube channel, then you'll find, or the playlist, you'll find the last 2 years worth of events that we've run. And after this evening's event, we'll be posting that there as well. And it's becoming quite a useful archive of topics around learning and development in the IT space. So please make use of the videos that we've recorded and posted to there. So Mark Palmer, who's our treasurer, is just going to do a very brief update on our finances.
Yes, obviously this year has been a bit strange in terms of the effects of COVID. So last year, where we had our budget of £1,800, we only managed to spend £218 because we really didn't do very much in terms of actual physical things, whereas all of the events that we ran were virtual, so there isn't any much in the way of expenditure. The budget for next year is, as you can see there, just under £1,500. At the moment, we don't have any real proposed expenditure because obviously there's still a certain amount of uncertainty in terms of when we will be in a position to do any physical events. We were, prior to the lockdown in March, we were preparing to do some local events which would have used up the budget, but we don't know whether that will, when that will come into play next year, next calendar year. So in terms of generalities, the allocation of that under £1,500 is pretty much in line with all specialist groups. We are obviously minimising travel and accommodation costs. All of our committee meetings are virtual, even without COVID restrictions. The budget is also really just set for general business as usual type expenditure. Any additional events are covered by SFR, special funding request. And where possible, we'd be looking for sponsorship or joint events. The planned events that we did have for last budget year would have been a collaborative event with the Bristol branch, where there would have been some expenditure, but it would have been spread between the Bristol branch group and us. Potentially, if we do get back into work doing some physical events, we will look to do smaller, more workshop evening type events with branches, with the exception potentially of going back into doing something more aligned along the lines of a conference, which would also incorporate probably the AGM. So look at doing something this time next calendar year. That's it really, very short this year.
Great, thank you very much, Mark. So Gary, across to you for Secretary's report.
Okay, good evening everybody. Yeah, the short version of the Secretary's report is we fully comply with the member group rules. They're all written there and I think most people are familiar with them, so I don't propose to read them out, but we are fully compliant.
Okay.
Okay, so we've met 9 times online, obviously, since the last AGM. And before each meeting, we circulate the agenda and the minutes of the previous meetings. And as Kevin's already said, the minutes of the meetings are published on the SG web pages on the BCS website, and the bit.ly link to that has already been posted in the chat window. Next slide. Yeah. Okay, me again. Okay, this is membership is quite an interesting thing at the moment because BCS are rationalising their databases, and when I put this together, the membership numbers across 3 databases added up to 1,235, including 135 SG members who were non-BCS members. If you look at the right-hand column, it looks like the numbers are 200 or so down on last year. But since then, I've had some new figures, and adding up the current figures from the same BCS databases, we now come to a total of 1,343. So it's a slight elastic at the moment, and we'll see where it settles down. But across the piece, you can see that we've generally averaged anywhere between 12 and 1,800 members in the group, so it's fairly well supported.
Great, thank you very much. And I know Ismini's online, so Ismini, would you like to do the session, your inclusion and diversity slide? Oh, I've just seen a comment in the chat, microphone issues. Okay, so we believe as a specialist group committee that we're demonstrating continuously working on good practices in a number of areas. We have got a very diverse international membership all around the world. We've tried to make sure that all of our sessions and webinars are designed to be very inclusive and trying to minimize the digital divide. We're trying to ensure that where we do have face-to-face meetings, that we have good disabled access, and we are very open to dialogue with members to accommodate requests to support members being fully inclusive in our events. And we've been adapting our approaches due to COVID-19 and making sure we've followed all the government guidelines as needed. I would say as nearly all of our events have been virtual for some time, and we generally only do one face-to-face event each year, we've been able to put a lot of this into practice on a regular basis. But if you have any questions or comments, then please feel free to contact the committee, and we'd be happy to talk to you. And events. So we've had a reasonably busy year this year. So starting with the AGM this time last year, we've run events on 15 years of educational technology trends. We had the Code Grades event back in June, where we were looking at how to take the approach of teaching music and apply that to learning how to teach programming, which was a very interesting event. Online proctoring in compliance with GDPR, and how you can actually run the exams and proctored events online and stay in compliance. August, we had Ian Seaward from Sophia Foundation talk to us about the history of Sophia and also the latest developments coming up in Sophia 8. And last month we had the session with Henry Stewart from Happy about how they adapted to remote delivery from a business that was entirely face-to-face led. So good range of different events over the last year. And on to the next event. So this evening we've got our AGM, and I'll talk about T-levels. And then next month we've got LPI, the Learning Performance Institute, coming to talk to us about LPI Learn and their capability map. And we're always looking for other ideas, so please let us know. And all our events are recorded, and as I said earlier, you can find them on the YouTube playlist. And we're just starting to have discussions as a committee about holding a conference in 2021, probably in October time, along with our AGM. So if you have any ideas about things you'd like to see at that, then please let me know, or any other ideas at all, then please send them to me, and my email address is up on screen. So please reach out and let me know. And just a bit about social media. We do use Twitter quite a lot. We've got our handle there. We have quite a large number of followers, 556 followers of the group. And Michelle is regularly tweeting out what we're doing. So keep a lookout. And if you can help us with social media, just spreading the word about Learning Development Specialist Group, then please do get involved. So we come on to nomination of committee members. The three key positions, chair, treasurer and secretary. Myself as chair, Mark, that you heard earlier as treasurer, and Gary as secretary and membership secretary are all prepared to continue in their officer roles. And our other committee members have all indicated their willingness to continue. We do operate a practice of co-opting new committee members during the year if other people do come forward and would like to get involved. So if your name's not on the list but you would like to join us on the committee, then please get in contact and we'd be delighted to talk to you. And any other business? I can't see anything in the questions or the chat. I'll just check if there's anything else. No, I don't see any other business. So with that, I'd like to draw our AGM to a close and thank you for attending.